The Arizona Wildcats beat the UCLA Bruins. Final score: Arizona Wildcats 70 to the UCLA Bruins 64. The game was over at the MGM Grand, the semifinals of the Pac-12 tournament. Brendan Ashley, he scored 24 points tonight. He, which is much more than he normally scores. He usually scores about 15 points. I think it was 15 points was his highest scoring game this season. It was 15 points. So when he scored 24, it's very, very unusual for him. And I want to say that I think, I wanted to say, that's a fantastic job that he scored that many points. He was 9 for 11 field goal, and he was 6 for 7 from free throws. He didn't shoot any three-pointers, but he had seven rebounds. But anyway, he had, I think he had, there was a guy that had a mask on because he got a fracture in his facial fracture. Kevin Looney, from the UCLA Bruins, and I think I think Kevin Looney from the UCLA Bruins was playing a little bit soft, playing defense a little bit soft, and he was one that I think he was the one that was playing a lot of the defense on Brendan Ashley. So and Kevin Looney ended up with 3 fouls, but tonight. So I think that might be one of the reasons why Brendan Ashley had such a high scoring game. But then it, I don't want to discredit that. I still think that Brendan Ashley has been having some fantastic games as of late, and he's really starting to step up, and you know the even if the if his defender was soft on him, then Brendan Ashley uh, even showed his strength or his willpower whenever he knocked down 6 for 7 from the free throw from the charity stripe. So I cannot say all of the reason why he did so good is because his defender was bad tonight. Looney was bad, and it might not have been Looney that was defending him the whole night. It might have been there might have been other players that were defending against him, but Brendan Ashley from the Arizona Wildcats felt comfortable tonight, and um, that's I think that's one of the biggest reasons why he scored 24 points tonight. Another big reason that he did so good was because I think the UCLA Bruins they knew that the Arizona Wildcats, all of the 5 players, 5 starters could pretty much take over the game, and so they were kind of they the UCLA Bruins were kind of going to pick their poison. Who you know who was the least of who was going to be the least effective, um, and so I think what the UCLA Bruins did is they tried to um, focus on uh, shutting down the post players, and that is something that the UCLA Bruins can do because the UCLA Bruins are lanky. They're all big players, and so they have that ability to get on, to defend against big men like Tarczewski, the 7-footer, and big men like Brendan Ashley I think he's 6'9", and Stanley Johnson is also 6'9", but um, they and they were also wanted to try and shut down Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, and they did. They kind of shut down Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. Rondé Hollis-Jefferson was, for the Arizona Wildcats, was 2 for 10 tonight, field goals. He took one attempt at a three-pointer, but it he didn't make it. But the thing about Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, and he ended up with, what was it? He had 0 personal fouls tonight, which is counterintuitive to me, because whenever you are playing very aggressively, then you're going to get fouls. You're going to get called for fouls every once in a while. But Rondé Hollis-Jefferson from the Arizona Wildcats didn't get called for any fouls whatsoever. So it's kind of interesting, and the reason why I say Rondé Hollis-Jefferson kind of planted the seed for Brendan Ashley to score all those points is because Rondé Hollis-Jefferson drew so many players to him, even though he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with the basketball. He still drew a lot of attention from the UCLA Bruins, and I think whenever he drew a lot of attention on him and his athleticism, then what he did was he allowed Brendan Ashley to be freed up, and that's one of the reasons why Brendan Ashley was able to get 24 points tonight. Another important thing I think was that I wanted to see if the Arizona Wildcats could beat the UCLA Bruins on the get offensive rebounds, and also beat the UCLA Bruins on assists tonight. Then I thought that the U of A Wildcats were going to be in pretty good shape. The next thing that you could fall back on is who was in foul trouble. But since nobody was in foul trouble, then I wanted to see who had the advantage as far as offensive rebounds. It was actually the Arizona Wildcats ended up with 15 offensive rebounds compared to the UCLA Bruins, which had 8. So it was definitely in the Arizona Wildcats' favor, the offensive rebounds, and the reason why I put so much emphasis on the offensive rebounds is because whenever you miss shots, whenever your team misses a shot, and you can get the offensive rebound, then it demoralizes the other team and makes them feel like even if you miss it, you're going to still keep on playing, and you can still get your own rebounds, and you can still go up for that second chance opportunity. And speaking of second chance opportunities, we had 9 second chance opportunities. UCLA had 9 second chance opportunities. The points in the paint, UCLA had 32 points in the paint, with the Arizona Wildcats only having 20 points in the paint. So, I mean, the Wildcats shot 21 three-pointers tonight, and they made 7 out of 21, which is shooting 33%. And the UCLA Bruins shot 10 three-pointers, but they only made 4, so they shot 40%. So that was one of the reasons why the UCLA Bruins they had such a uh, advantage with the getting points in the paint. Um, with the UCLA Bruins having 32 and the Arizona Wildcats only having 20, but the Arizona Wildcats could compensate for that by making some three-pointers, and they did. Stanley Johnson made 3 out of 6 from three-point land. T.J. McConnell made 2 out of 5 from three-point land. Gabe York made 2 out of 6 from three-point land. So those were big contributions to why the Arizona Wildcats were able to take over the game and actually win the game right there at the end. Go on that 15-0 run and finish up the game. Another big thing to me is 11 assists from the T.J. McConnell. The total amount of assists were 17 total amount of assists from the Arizona Wildcats, and we had Stanley Johnson, which had 3, and we had Rondé Hollis-Jefferson with 2. We had Gabe York with 1. So it was a little bit better contribution, and that's what I was hoping more, is getting more of a contribution on assists from Stanley Johnson. I think that's more of a team playing. He's playing more like a team. There's more team effort going on there, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Arizona Wildcats ended up being victorious in this game, is because they were playing as a team, whereas the UCLA Bruins, I think, were using their athleticism and playing more individual ball, and I think that in the end, that's why the Arizona Wildcats were able to pull out the victory and eventually take care of business and beat the UCLA Bruins. So the Arizona Wildcats beat the UCLA Bruins. The final score: Arizona Wildcats 70 to the UCLA Bruins 64.